We gonna talk about Kyrie, man?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Where I want to talk about how wrong I got this series prediction because I feel like a lot of it comes back to Kyrie, so we'll get to that. But I have always been the guy who was like, bro, don't overthink it. The deeper team with the better defense is going to win 95% of the time. But I thought this Dallas team was going to be the 5% perhaps, right? Because this postseason they went through the Clippers, and I was like, that's a toss up. That can go either way. Then they went through, OKC, number one team in the West. I was impressed. Then they went through Minnesota. I was impressed
Cooked
because
them.
yeah. So it's like the whole, like I said, the conventionalism that I lean on about, oh, bro, don't overthink it. Defense and depth will win out against scores 90% of the time. That kind of went out the window because I saw Luka go crazy, Kyrie go crazy, and beat better teams on their way to the finals, right? But the disappearing act that Kyrie pulled in these finals, I don't know. I feel like I feel like that's kind of, I won't say legacy altering, but it's kind of like, yeah, you know, you the dribble dribble scoop layup shit is cute, but we've just seen, in the postseason that it just doesn't translate. That they can turn your water off really easily, bro. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I don't know where exactly I'm at with Kyrie and the whole like scope of his career thing, but it's for sure something to consider.
I
Yeah,
think,
we go ahead, John.
go ahead, go ahead. No. I think it wasn't even the defense, too. It didn't seem like he got the shots he wanted. He just wasn't making shit. It was like we talked about a dude, you know what I'm saying, who's unfappable. You know what I mean? And
Boy,
he
people
looks
are having
fappable as
fun
a
on those
motherfucker.
clips. People are having fun on those clips on
Right.
twitter.com today.
He laughable as a motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? We're like, it just seemed like the person we thought that if anybody could go to Boston and not give a fuck what Boston says is Kyrie. And that was the exact opposite, where he was just in his head the entire time. And I don't know, like you said, I mean, he had he looked incredible for a lot of the postseason. But I mean, if you really break down the series, there were some games where he just like, you know, 6 here, 8 here. You know what I mean? Like it just didn't seem like he was the Robin they needed him to be at times. You know what I'm saying? So I think it was more in this series where they needed him to walk a tightrope, like him and Luka, and he just was nowhere close to where he needed to be in the moments they needed him, like
Yeah.
the past series prior, even when he had some rougher moments within games or series. So yeah, I'm with you on that, man. Like I love watching Kyrie play basketball. I think it's beautiful basketball. I will never forget what he did in the 2016 playoffs with Bron. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, you can't you this leaves a stink on the
I,
Kyrie
you
we think.
know,
I mean, to a degree, to a degree. I mean, to a
y-
degree, as
y-
well
yeah,
as the Nets playoffs against the Celtics. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying?
I,
So
I I think as far as this one, to be honest with you, I think he did have a really good playoffs, up kind of up
yeah.
until the finals. I think it just happened to be it's a matchup sport. You get a team that does not have a mismatch for you to attack, a team that is filled with good perimeter defenders. Um, and you're going to Boston where you have all this history. And people are, I mean, I think it happened in the game last night, right? People are saying shit to him and stuff like that. So it's kind of hard to expect from not being his head. So I don't really see it, to be honest with you, as that big of a negative on Kyrie. I just think that was it just was the wrong series to end up in for him, right? And if you want to say great players overcome that, that's fair. But I also think watching him play with Luka, as fun as that was in the Western Conference playoffs, it kind of showed you how special LeBron is, to be honest with you, that you put any superstar player next to LeBron and he's going to max him out. And Luka's not yet at that. We talked about the comparison of LeBron and Luka at 25. Luka does not have that yet. You know what I mean? And so I think that's going to be key for him is they gave you a top 5 defense. You've got to figure out. I mean, obviously there's not a lot of predictable scoring. I mean, it's a lot of role players filling it out, but we saw Braun win with teams like that, right? So that to me is sort of it's going to be a key for Luka is you sense that tension of them wanting Kyrie to be the emotional leader. He talked a lot in interviews and in press conferences about I'm the one on the team with championship experience and Luka being the production leader. I don't know that works when you're a number 1, number 2 player in the world. I don't know that you cannot be the emotional leader, the guy who's telling, I'm going to get you into the situation that makes sense for you. So I don't know. I'd be curious to see. I do think they have some questions to answer in that dynamic going forward.
I
I
mean,
think the
and
thing with Kyrie that go ahead.
I was gonna say, I do think that he is kind of we're gonna always examine him through the scope of the whole best skilled crown that he's gonna win it with, right? So, how much does that matter if we're not seeing the production on the biggest stage? You know what I mean? Like, bro, I don't. If you swap Kyrie out for D'Lo this series, like, what does Dallas lose, bro?
Come on,
like,
man.
seriously,
Come on, man.
Probably
You're
a 4-1.
wildin'.
Probably
You're
the series is
wildin'.
probably still 4-1.
you're right.
You
But I do think it's interesting.
I mean,
the point about Kyrie's legacy.
we ain't gotta go there with it. But what I will say was, but I get your point. Like, and that's what I was about to say. Is I feel like it wasn't like Kyrie missed makeable shots. These are shots that he makes. He's a difficult shot maker. They didn't play defense that he hadn't seen before. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was missing makeable shots, and it wasn't like Kyrie was just not Kyrie. He was bad.
It was bad.
Like he was. This was a bad. So that's what I'm saying. Like, that's why I say it leaves a little bit of a stink because at least the way I look at Kyrie, you feel me? I thought that the Nets series was an anomaly, and when they played the Bucks, he was hurt. I didn't. People was talking shit on Twitter. Kyrie, I'm like, he had one bad series. You know what I mean? And the Nets, he was hurt, and before he got hurt, he was cooking the motherfucking Bucks. Nigga, fuck you mean? You know what I'm saying? So they win that series if Kyrie's healthy. You feel me? So I'm like, yo, I'm not tripping on that. But see, he had a solid playoffs. Like I said, there was moments where I was like, Kyrie don't look like Kyrie. He's passing a lot. You know what I mean? And I think they need him to be a little more aggressive, whatever. But they were winning, so nobody really tripped off of it. But this series, I think it was the first series where I was like, he looked bad. And in the finals, where they needed him to be at minimum himself, and he didn't look anywhere close to it. And they definitely need heroics for him to win. You know what I mean? But didn't wear anywhere close to it. Like in the big moments, like nobody was scared of him. He make a shot here, and it felt like it was just a shot made. It wasn't Kyrie going on a run. You know what I mean? Like it just was like he seemed really affected. By the what was going on with Boston was understandable, but it just seemed like he was affected by the lights.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting because ultimately it's probably just like an unlucky shooting performance that is just sort of why it looked so bad. But to your point about legacy, is Kyrie's legacy is centered around two things: being the most skilled player ever, quote unquote, and being a incredibly clutch NBA Finals performer.
Yeah.
Straight up. Like that is
just the heaviest nuts in the biggest moments.
He beat the 73 win team, and the only reason he lost after that is because they added Kevin Durant. Like he is thought of as the guy to go to in the playoffs and in the NBA Finals. And it's probably just like a bad shooting stretch of 5 games that ultimately isn't actually a marker on his basketball ability. But he failed to come through in the moment that we all sort of, like you said about him being unfathomable. We were all like, this is his moment. This is nobody else's moment, but his moment.
Yeah. I mean, and you talk about it, I've been here before. Like, if anybody's going to show up, we thought it'd be Kyrie. You know what I mean? I thought Luka would do his thing, obviously, because he's just Luka. It's just impossible. But I thought Kyrie was, hey, Kyrie will at least be Kyrie. It just wasn't there. And so, like, I mean, it does leave a little stink. You can't have performances like that with I leave this thing. I still think he's fucking incredible. You know what I'm saying? I still, I wouldn't take anything from him. He's a great playoffs and as a whole. But it leaves a stink when you have this, when you on the biggest moment, when your team needs you the most, against a very good Boston Celtics team, you just seem to not even show up. And that's what happened. I mean, that's just a fact. You know what I mean? So,
okay.
Yeah.
And y'all know, if out of anybody here, I'm the motherfucker that fuck. You know what I'm saying?
That's like, when have I ever? That's like, when have I ever defended Kyrie to you? But that's what happens when the Celtics win a fucking championship.
So universe is upside down.
With this close to crowning an NBA champ, and with the action heating up on the court is even hotter at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. And DraftKings Sportsbook has you covered every step of the way, with same-game parlays, live betting, odds boosts, and so much more. Don't miss out as the NBA postseason winds down.
It's super easy to get started with DraftKings if you're a first-timer. Try betting on something like a team to win. Go to the DraftKings Sportsbook app, select your team, and place your first bet. It's that simple. The Mavericks are plus 170 underdogs heading into the finals, which is pretty interesting, especially when they have the best player in the series. And if you're new to DraftKings, you got to check this out. New customers bet $5 to get 150 in bonus bets instantly.
Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code Jenkins. That's code Jenkins for new customers to get 150 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings. The crown is yours.